Hey guys, we're all human and we're all prone to make mistakes. Many of our missteps can be life-changing, and some mistakes can make us feel like it's the worst day of our life. No need to explain, since many of us have repeatedly found ourselves in such situations. While most people tend to give up under the pressure, there are also those who believe that even the worst mistakes can provide new opportunities and lessons. These lessons can change our entire worldview and give us the incentive to move on. This is exactly what happened to a very young couple, the heroes of our story today, Cale Hunter and Claire Segarian, who jumped into a risky project which is now being followed by the whole world. However, first things first, back in their student years, a young British couple decided to pursue their dream. The young couple's been saving up for a long time, sparing every penny, and finally managed to put aside enough money to buy their own property. After graduation, Hunter and Segarian started looking for a place to live together. The search was quick, as they managed to find what looked like an ideal accommodation. At a very lucrative price, looking through the lots of an auction in Scotland, they found a 2-room apartment in the city of Glasgow, which had been fire damaged. This fact didn't scare them off, since the apartment cost only $37,000, and they didn't plan on spending much on repairs. So, as the young couple was dreaming of moving into their new home as soon as possible, something utterly unexpected happened. It was an ordinary day. Hunter placed a bid at the auction and won their coveted apartment. Just a day later, he made the transfer for the entire amount and was about to proceed with the paperwork. It was like a dream come true. However, it wasn't exactly so. In fact, when the young man looked at the documents, he almost fainted. It turned out that the 26-year-old guy had accidentally placed his bet on the wrong lot. Instead of the apartment that he and Claire had chosen together, he ended up buying an old derelict house. As soon as the man realized what had happened, he rushed to the auction officials and tried to reverse the process. However, they just shook their heads, since nothing could be done at that point. What was even worse, Claire was away at the time, and Hunter was apprehensive of her reaction when she returned. Just imagine yourself in his shoes. The money you'd been scraping for several years was gone, spent on something you didn't even want. He did end up confessing to Claire about his mess-up. Luckily, the girl was understanding and took this news well anyway. The house couldn't be that terrible, she thought, but she was very wrong. Back then, the couple was very optimistic and planned to do all the repairs themselves. They had a good feeling about the mansion, despite its shabby look. Looking at the pictures of the house, they noticed that the place had its own vibe. Hunter and Segarian were determined to turn this property into a beautiful masterpiece, and they couldn't wait to see it with their own eyes. However, what they would soon get to see would truly shock them. Just days after purchasing the 120-year-old mansion, Claire and Cale traveled to Dunoon, 55 kilometers from Glasgow, to see their newly acquired property. Approaching the small estate, the couple clearly understood that renovations would cost them much more time and effort than they could have ever imagined. Every window in the house was broken, and the roof had almost completely collapsed. One corner of the mansion was sinking tightly into the ground, and the local authorities had labeled this property dangerous. That's why the house was so cheap. Of course, the couple was upset, but they were still sure that things would turn out just fine. They were picturing this renovated ancient house as a wonderful mansion with its own history, and so the house, bought at $37,000, became their new challenge. Hunter and Segarian came up with the renovations project for their house, but they soon realized that they didn't have enough cash for it. They did have another option to just put it back up and go back to the rented apartment, but they chose to take a different path. Since they simply couldn't afford to hire construction workers, the only thing left was to do everything themselves. So they rented a small trailer and parked it in the backyard of the mansion they planned to live in it while doing the repairs. The small trailer wasn't comfortable at all. I mean, how could it be? It didn't even have electricity or a water supply. The couple saved every penny, and they soon had enough money to start this incredible project. But it wasn't long before the young people realized that money wasn't the only thing they needed. They also needed some extra hands, since they couldn't afford to hire professionals. Fortunately, their friends realized what a hard time the couple was having and came to their aid, helping with whatever they could, working hard on the renovations. The young couple faced new challenges and problems almost every day. For example, one day the car bringing supplies got stuck in the driveway. Another time, a water pipe was impossible to fix. Not to mention that the unlucky couple spent about 5 months searching for the main electrical cable to connect the house to the power grid. And that was just the beginning. Hunter and Sagarian knew that they needed a new roof as well, since the old one had almost completely collapsed. But before starting to work on the roof, they had to strengthen the walls. All these challenges made them realize that it would be a long while before they would be able to move into their new home. No one knows how this story would have developed if the couple hadn't become very popular in the suburbs of Glasgow. After a few people would dare to take on this kind of restoration project, as it would have been much easier to just tear down the house and build a new one, but it all circles back to the financial issues. After watching this couple struggle for a while, the local community decided to help their new neighbors. They allowed the couple to use their bathrooms, running water, and even kitchens to prepare food. This way, they encouraged the couple to move on and even helped them on site when they could. Later, when Hunter and Sagarian ran out of money, their friends advised them to start their own Instagram page and post all the stages of the renovations project so far. They have more than 160,000 followers who often offer them financial help. Hunter and I often joke about this. We are sure that if we can survive the restoration of this mansion together, then we can survive almost anything. This project has strengthened our relationship through and through, and the two of us have become its hostages, says Claire with a smile. Renovation work was in full swing when the couple started clearing junk off the territory around the property to make room for construction equipment. It took them over a week just to remove all the trash, after which they planned on renovating the interior of the house. They understood that the mansion was quite old and that it was necessary to provide safety equipment, so they bought protective vests, helmets, masks, and gloves. They had virtually no free time. Their first big achievement happened in 2019. Almost a year after the purchase of the mansion, the couple managed to connect their property to the power grid. After that, they opened their first bottle of champagne in their new home. We call our purchase a happy accident, even though it's difficult to restore. We still enjoy the process. More and more ideas come to mind every day, Cale says with a smile. So we've accepted this challenge. Sure, this property is too big for the young couple, which is why they plan on turning this house into 3 apartments, 2 of which they'll be renting out. They'll keep the third one as their home. This way, the house will turn into 3 2-bedroom apartments with all the amenities. The next stage of the project was floorboard restoration, as most of the floor in the house had either rotten or fallen through. For a long time, the couple couldn't figure out why there were birds tripping inside the house. As it turned out, a large flock of crows had settled on the roof. So Claire made a scarecrow to scare away the birds. It's exciting to watch the young, inexperienced couple overcome all these difficulties. For example, Claire is a fragile girl, and before the project, she used to be very afraid of heights. When renovating the mansion, she often had to face her fear. It was especially difficult when they worked on strengthening the walls, and she had to stand on the scaffolding. At first, the girl could hardly breathe when climbing the structure. However, over time, she managed to overcome her fear of heights, and she's now very proud of it. It would be completely wrong to say that their project went smoothly and effortlessly. In fact, they encountered difficulties at every step. They often had to prepare their food on an open fire because they simply didn't have an oven. And they did their laundry in the stream because they didn't have a washing machine, let alone internet. Initially, the trailer was parked in an uncomfortable spot, very close to the road. Later, when the couple cleared most of the territory, they towed it to a new place where they could finally wake up to the sound of birds singing instead of cars honking. The couple also set up a cozy tent in the backyard with a bed, a lamp, a table, a mini fridge, and other amenities. By the end of 2019, with some help of their neighbors and friends, they managed to complete the roof restoration. We were full of joy having completed this massive milestone. We opened a second bottle of champagne right on the roof of our mansion. We built this roof ourselves, which meant that we'd be able to restore the whole house, Sagarian said proudly. Those around the young couple feel proud of what they've accomplished. A lot's been done already, and there's still a lot of work left to do, and there's no doubt it's hard work. However, everyone is amazed at how Claire and Cale have remained positive throughout. In all, while most couples would simply split up under the pressure, that these two have only become closer. True, the situation was tough. They didn't have enough money to rent an apartment, as they accidentally spent all their savings on buying an old destroyed house. So the couple had to move into a trailer without any amenities. Learn to make repairs on their own and do what they had never done before in their life. However, all of this had only proved that they genuinely loved each other. It should be noted that the couple is still working on their mansion, but they're getting closer to achieving their goal every single day. The purchase of an old house and its restoration has changed the couple's life forever. Having bought a 120-year-old mansion by mistake, they didn't back down. They put their soul, energy, and time into it. What's more, the couple has already received multiple offers to buy their house, the cost of which has already increased tenfold. However, Hunter and Sigarian turned them down because they've already developed a bond with the property. In addition, the house is a historical place located in an amazingly beautiful area. Given its newly gained popularity, which came from the wide publicity of this heartwarming story about the unfortunate couple, the property may cost over $1 million when the renovations are complete. Nevertheless, the two aren't planning to sell it, yet thousands of followers from all over the world watch them work on their project every day. It's like some kind of reality show. Judging by the pace of work, we can assume that the couple's dream of owning a cozy home can finally come true as early as next year. So that's the story. It shows us that one wrong decision can change your whole life. A single mistake has made the young couple hostage to the situation. But at the same time, it's incredible how they didn't give up, took it optimistically, and may very well end up turning it into a profitable project. What would you do if you were in their shoes? Let us know in the comments section. That's it for today. Rate our video if you liked it. See you soon. Bye.